When you come into someone's life with your full presence, when you bring your energy, your confidence, your authenticity, it creates an experience that feels bigger, fuller, and more powerful than anything that can be measured. What truly makes someone feel more is not just what you bring on the outside, it's how deeply you connect, how much you allow yourself to be seen, and how much you make space for them to be seen too. People crave intimacy that goes beyond the physical. They crave to feel wanted, to feel valued, to feel like in that very moment they matter more than anything else in the world. That's the essence of what makes an experience unforgettable, when you lean in fully, not holding back, not second-guessing, but giving all of yourself in that moment. The truth is, confidence amplifies connection. When you show up with the belief that you are enough and that you have something powerful to share, that belief transfers, and the other person feels it. They don't just feel it in their mind, they feel it in their body, in their emotions, in the way their heart beats faster, in the way they remember it long after the moment has passed. That's what happens when someone feels more. It's not about comparison, it's about presence, intensity, and depth. There is something magnetic about bringing your full self into a relationship, because energy is contagious. When you show up with excitement, curiosity, and a willingness to explore and give, the other person opens up in return. That's why vulnerability is so powerful. When you let your guard down, when you stop worrying about performance, about expectations, about judgment, you unlock a level of intimacy that feels bigger than anything physical. It feels expansive, it feels electric, it feels like something more. And in those moments you realize that the true gift you can give someone isn't perfection, it's presence. It's the courage to be right there, to listen, to touch, to give, and to make them feel like they are the only person in the world. That's what makes someone feel more, when they feel fully seen, fully desired, fully embraced. The reason this matters so much is because we live in a world where distractions are everywhere. People rarely give each other undivided attention anymore. So when you do, when you put away the noise, when you lock in, when you bring everything you are into that connection, it becomes unforgettable. It becomes the story they replay in their mind, the moment that stands out among all the others, the thing that makes them say it felt like more. It's because you chose to show up without hesitation, without fear, and without holding back. You gave the most powerful thing you could ever give, which is all of yourself in one single, powerful moment. Presence creates intensity beyond the physical, because when you fully show up in a moment with another person, you shift the entire experience from something ordinary into something unforgettable. Too often people underestimate the power of presence, thinking it's the physical act, the external measure, or the surface interaction that defines how meaningful a connection feels. But the truth is, the body follows the mind and the heart, and when you are deeply present, when your attention is locked on the other person without distraction or hesitation, the intensity rises naturally. Presence means your eyes are not wandering, your thoughts are not drifting, your phone isn't pulling you away, and your insecurities aren't building a wall. Presence means you are there, every ounce of your attention dedicated, and that dedication creates a force that the other person not only notices but also feels. It magnifies their own emotions, their own sensations, their own ability to relax into the moment, because they can sense that you are not halfway invested, you are all in. When you are fully present, every word, every touch, every movement carries weight, because you're not just going through the motions, you're infusing it with focus and intention. This is why presence builds intensity beyond the physical, because the other person begins to feel more than just your actions. They feel your energy, your care, your desire to be there fully with them. It's like a spotlight on the connection, illuminating it in a way that nothing else can. Presence tells someone they matter, that you value them enough to give them all of yourself in that moment, and that sense of being valued is what turns an experience from average into extraordinary. The body reacts, yes, but the mind and emotions amplify it, creating something deeper, something that resonates long after the moment has ended. Presence is rare in a world that thrives on distraction. Most people multitask their way through conversations and relationships, never realizing they are only halfway connecting. But when you choose to be different, when you choose to push everything else aside and lock your attention on one person, you create an intensity that cannot be faked. They will feel it in the way you listen, in the way you respond, in the way your entire energy communicates I am here with you and nowhere else. That's why presence is so powerful, because it's not about physical size or strength, it's about emotional investment. It's about giving someone the undeniable truth that in that moment, they are your world, and nothing feels more powerful than that. Confidence amplifies connection and desire because when you walk into an intimate moment believing you are enough, that belief radiates outward and sets the entire tone of the experience. Confidence is not arrogance and it's not about pretending, it's about owning who you are and showing up without apology. When you carry yourself with confidence, the other person feels it immediately, and it creates a sense of safety and attraction that makes them open up more fully. Human beings are wired to respond to energy, and confidence is one of the most magnetic energies you can bring. It doesn't matter what you look like or what you think you might lack, if you bring confidence, you elevate the connection because you signal to the other person that they can relax, let go of worry, and immerse themselves in the moment. Desire grows stronger when both people feel secure, and confidence is the key that unlocks that security. When you doubt yourself, hesitate, or overthink, the other person senses it too, and it creates a wall that holds the connection back. But when you embrace confidence, when you step in with certainty and with the willingness to be present, you create an intensity that builds naturally. Confidence says I want to be here, I choose this, and I'm not afraid to show it. That assurance amplifies desire because it makes the other person feel wanted and cherished without needing to question it. The truth is, confidence eliminates guesswork. Instead of wondering if they are enough for you, they feel it instantly through your tone, your touch, your body language, and your presence. That's why the experience feels bigger, because the energy is free of hesitation and full of certainty. Confidence doesn't come from perfection, it comes from acceptance. When you accept who you are, flaws and all, and still show up with your whole self, you send a powerful message that nothing is holding you back. That message empowers the other person to do the same, creating a cycle of openness and trust that deepens the intimacy. Connection thrives on honesty and presence, and confidence is the bridge between the two. It allows both people to feel free, uninhibited, and fully alive in the moment. When confidence is present, desire intensifies naturally, not because of performance or external factors, but because both people feel completely engaged and completely seen. That is why confidence amplifies connection and desire, because it transforms the experience into something bigger than the physical, it makes it unforgettable. Vulnerability unlocks deeper intimacy because it breaks down the invisible walls that people often carry into their relationships and allows for a connection that is raw, real, and unforgettable. Many people believe intimacy is built purely through physical closeness, but the truth is, the body only responds fully when the heart and mind feel safe and open. Vulnerability is the act of showing your true self without hiding behind masks, without trying to impress, and without fearing judgment. When you dare to be vulnerable, you let the other person see not just your strength, but also your fears, your hopes, and your imperfections, and that authenticity creates trust. Trust deepens intimacy because it allows both people to let go of performance and instead surrender to the experience of being fully themselves. Vulnerability is powerful because it signals courage. It says I am willing to let you in, I am willing to show you the parts of me that others might never see, and I am willing to risk being hurt because this connection matters that much. That level of honesty is magnetic because it invites the other person to open up too. When two people are vulnerable together, the connection moves past the surface and dives into a space where true intimacy lives. Every word and every touch becomes richer because it is no longer about hiding or pretending, it is about being real. And when you are real, the energy becomes undeniable. The reason vulnerability unlocks deeper intimacy is that it removes barriers. Without vulnerability, moments can feel shallow or incomplete, as if something important is being held back. But with vulnerability, even silence feels full, even the smallest gesture feels meaningful, and even the simplest interaction can create an impact that lingers. It transforms intimacy from a physical act into an emotional experience that resonates on every level. The other person feels not only your body but also your soul, and that kind of connection is what makes them feel more. It is not easy to be vulnerable, because it requires letting go of control, letting go of the fear of rejection, and allowing yourself to be seen completely. But it is precisely in that surrender where the magic happens. The moment you stop guarding yourself and instead embrace openness, the intimacy deepens, the trust expands, and the bond becomes stronger. Vulnerability creates a space where both people feel safe enough to explore, to give, and to receive without limits, and that is why it is the key to deeper intimacy.